Welcome back. The ranking member of the House Oversight Committee, James Comer, says a recently uncovered voicemail between Joe and Hunter Biden is evidence that the president knew about his son's foreign business transactions with a Chinese criminal. Comer also said that he promises to get Americans answers about the Biden family pattern of placing profit over country. All of this comes from an exclusive interview that Comer recently gave to the Daily Mail. And joining us to discuss this is former Trump 2016 foreign policy advisor and Newsmax contributor George Papadopoulos. Happy 4th of July, George. I'm getting in a little early. I know you're celebrating our nation's birthday. Great to see you.
Absolutely. Happy 4th of July weekend to you too, John, and thanks so much again for having me.
Always enjoy talking to you, George. James Comer also says that he believes Joe Biden is, in fact, the big guy in Hunter's emails who got a cut of the family's suspicious foreign business deals. Now, if Republicans do take back the House, how high of a priority should this be to start the investigation?
Well, just given that the mainstream media is forced to cover what I think half of the electorate already knew, and that is that Hunter Biden is corrupt and that Joe Biden knew this entire time. John, can you imagine how much clearer the image of pay for play by the Biden family would have been if the mainstream media didn't willfully suppress key articles and research regarding this exact interview that the congressman just gave to the Daily Mail? Would we have even had a Biden presidency? We don't have that answer. But what we do know is that Joe Biden outright lied on the campaign trail. He prevaricated from this exact situation, and he continued to lie about his son's business dealings abroad and his knowledge about them while he was president. That entire strategy of trying to obfuscate the truth came to a screeching halt once we had this voicemail that unearthed, which clearly and unequivocally showcased that Joe Biden clearly knew about his son's overseas business dealings, and he likely wanted to be involved. So I think if we are to preserve a rules-based order in this country and not have a two-tiered system of the rule of law, then it is absolutely paramount that when and if the Republicans take over after the midterms, you must hold an investigation into this particular situation because it's a national security question at this point.
And you have to wonder, you know, if Republicans put as much energy and effort behind this investigation as Democrats did into the January 6th committee, I mean, are they going to do it a different way? Are they going to allow Democrats to cross-examine any witnesses for Joe and Hunter Biden? You would hope so. You want to make sure that you don't do the things the Democrats did to sully the reputation of the January 6th committee.
Look, absolutely. And I think what the Republicans, assuming they do take over after the midterms, have to look at is watch the mistakes that the Democrats have conducted during this sham investigation into the January 6th event. Because if they don't learn the mistakes of the Democrats, they're going to repeat them, and their own investigation will then be tarnished. It will be viewed as more of a non-substance spectacle, made-for-TV type of event, in which, as you just stated, you're not able to cross-examine. You can't bring different witnesses. It's basically just a judge, jury, and executioner type of situation in which President Trump, his allies, and more importantly, his supporters are sitting back and watching this execution take place. But because of so many mistakes that the Democrats have made, because of the spectacle that they've put on, which has failed to convince the overwhelming American population of what they are attempting to do, and that really is to castigate President Trump and his supporters to prevent him from running again, I think the Republicans are going to make sure that they don't make the mistakes. They're going to have a non-biased, hopefully nonpartisan investigation into Hunter Biden, President Biden, because we can't forget President Trump and his family went through hell and back with various investigations at the federal and state level. No crimes were levied against them. They're still going through them. So if there's rules against President Trump, they have to be equally applied to President Biden.
Reciprocity, as somebody once said. All right, let's also talk about Hillary Clinton real quickly here, George. She told MSNBC that she would endorse Joe Biden if he runs again. Here she is.
Look, I would endorse our sitting president. Yes, of course. I mean, you know, this is a silly question. So let's go with the person most likely to win. Joe Biden beat in a huge landslide victory in the popular vote Donald Trump. I think that says a lot.
A huge landslide victory, George? I don't know.
Well, I really think that Hillary Clinton must have some top attorneys who have advised her that a future run for the presidency is not likely in her future. In fact, I don't think it's a winning pitch to the American voters once somebody's under a criminal investigation like she likely is during the John Durham investigation and her entire campaign and her failed tenure as Secretary of State. So I think that she wasn't going to have a run in the future. She had to back President Biden at a time when most of the Democratic Party is actually abandoning him because of all the scandals that he's mired in. So I just think that Hillary Clinton herself is facing a lot of issues herself, and she's trying to stay as relevant as possible and in the media as much as possible, for that matter.
George Papadopoulos, always great to see you. And once again, George, have a wonderful Independence Day.
You too, John. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.